Your race does not affect your mental health. Racism affects mental health.
I feel like the most prevalent stigmas that I face has to do with that overlap of race and gender, because it's the first thing that you see when you see me. I had a lot of people think that I'm very aggressive, and that's something that's extremely violent, and that's something that I still carry in my chest and in my soul.
There is interpersonal racism, and interpersonal racism is, racism between individuals, and that leads to stress. And that could be a racist attack, which people will realize leads to stress. It could be racial abuse, which everybody would understand leads to stress. But it can also be two other things. One, the belief that you may be discriminated against, right? Not that you are being discriminated against, but the belief and the worry that you may be discriminated against. And then on top of that, there's one other thing, which is called microaggressions. And these are small, everyday, little episodes of racism. Once you put together systemic racism and then everyday racism, you can see why racialized people, on average, in Canada, live under more stress than non-racialized people. And then there's the kicker at the end. When you go for services, you're less likely to get them. They're harder to get, they're less available, they're much less likely to meet your cultural needs.
A lot of people that I know who want to go into therapy want to see somebody of their own race. Depending on where you are, that's not happening in Ottawa.
I was scared to go to other people that aren't part of my race and thinking I already have things set for me, or I feel like I would get discriminated or something. So I felt like I had to do it always on my own, and we had to be very independent.
I think as a Black woman, the treatment journey is hard because we grow up with so much invalidation. Sometimes it's hard to open up, and it's hard to shake the mindset that we've been grown with.
So studies show that BIPOC children actually face higher rates of anxiety, depression, and lower self-esteem at a younger age.
I started having symptoms of anxiety from as early as age 6.
My symptoms first started in elementary school with difficulty focusing in class, starting lengthy assignments.
Being from an immigrant and racialized family, mental health is very much a stigma. I wasn't able to talk about my mental health when I was feeling it, and I had no idea what it was.
When I initially broached the topic of mental health 12 years ago in my family, nobody knew how to recognize the signs.
There's a lot of intergenerational trauma that's passed down from family and their family because of historical traumas that our families have faced. I come from a community that survived basically a genocide. So there's so many, experiences there that for me personally, my family has dealt with and hasn't dealt with, and I know it's affected the way that we communicate and work together.
So truly, I believe that change would look like greater access to mental health resources within the BIPOC communities, but also increased training for mental health clinicians to know how to adequately respond to the unique mental health needs of those within the BIPOC community.
Progress I want to see is other people within my people, Indigenous people and First Nations, is actually opening up and talking about it.
If you're feeling that your mental health is not where it's supposed to be, get that help. It's definitely not easy. I'm not saying that. It is going to be a hard journey, but it'll be worth it.
Tune in next time as we explore the intersection of gender and mental health more specifically.